Hey folks, it's Leo Alderpole again. Thought I'd just take a bit of a ramble around my local area. Because to my great shame, I've not really explored this area too much since I've been here. So I've just come for a bit of a wander down the lanes and across the fields and things like that. Wasn't quite sure what I was going to do a video about, but then I got to where I am and I thought, well, there we go. Here's something for me to complain about. So I'll get some housekeeping out of the way first. For a change, I'm smoking my Group 4 Northern Briars Bulldog. I don't usually smoke this pipe because the bowl's pretty big. Yeah, it's a big bowl and tends to last me all day. But this is the second day on the trot that I'm smoking Bob's Chocolate Flake in it. And it's really good stuff. So what was I going to whinge about? Well, as I've come out, I've been wandering around and I've just been looking at things, you know. So I've been following, here in the UK we have a network of footpaths, public rights of way, which means that basically they were started by a protest movement back in the 1930s, which was fantastic. A group of people, keen walkers, wanted a network of paths in the country to allow people access to the countryside. Which is obviously a good thing. So a group of people went up to Kinder Scout, which is a big hill in the Peak District in the Midlands of England, North Midlands of England. And at that time it was a private shooting estate. It still is a private shooting estate, I believe. Or is it owned by the National Trust now? It might be owned by the National Trust now anyway. Well, the point is they broke the law, they mass trespassed. And as a result of that, we've got this network of public footpaths across the country. It's enshrined in law that we can, you know, as long as we stay on these paths, we can walk along them and enjoy them any time of the year. So I'm just walking up where there is allegedly a footpath, but the farmer's actually ploughed over it, and not only has he ploughed over it, you can see he's ploughing right up to this hedgerow here, literally all of this field right up to the margin, right up to the hedgerow. Absolutely no margin left on the outside, no buffer zone. And I don't know if you can hear, but right behind me, actually inside this hedge, there's a watercourse, which means of course that whenever it rains, all of this, oh, you can't see if I point the camera that way because it's the sun's getting low. All of this lovely brown earth, beautiful Dorset brown earth, very nice fertile ground, is washing into that stream, which not only is polluting the stream and causing turbidity, but it's a loss of soil, a loss of soil nutrients. So it's just phenomenally bad practice. Really, really bad practice. I'm quite shocked, I have to say. Absolutely appalling. And these are people who, you know, guardians of the countryside, they like to call themselves. They like to call themselves custodians, you know. Well, we know about the countryside, we protect it, we've been farming it for generations, we know what we're doing. Of course, it's all bollocks. It's one of those things that really annoys me. I'm a countryman, you know, I live and work in the countryside, always have. And I can't stand it when these people come along and they say, just because they happen to be the farmers, the landowners or tenants of the land that they farm, that they somehow think they know better than the rest of us, when in actual fact it's field management systems like this that's one of the major causes of some of the environmental problems we suffer over here. You know, people are always complaining, oh, you don't see as many birds around these days as you used to, or so many insects, or so many fish in the streams. When I was a kid, we used to go out and catch miller's thumbs, bullheads was their other name, and sticklebacks in these little streams like the one here behind me. And they always complain about those sorts of things, but nobody actually asked the question, well, why? And this is why you don't get those things in the streams anymore. It's because there's intensive agriculture. It just buggers it all up. If there's turbidity in these streams from soil, from topsoil like this, washing off into those streams, it ruins the spawning grounds for the fish. So the bullheads, the minnows, the sticklebacks, they're not going to spawn in those streams. They're going to disappear. And I pretty much guarantee you that if I took a net out and sifted in this stream that's buried in the hedge behind me, then you wouldn't find much in the way of fish. Anyway, so that's my little grumble. But yeah. I'm going to pick this video up in just a second. I'm going to move on. Yeah, so the guardians of the countryside. Bloody ridiculous. Here's another one. This field, again, ploughed right up to the hedgerow. Absolutely no margin, no buffer, nothing. And the footpath that I'm walking on, completely, you know, not at all visible. It's not there. So, a law unto themselves. Anyways, I was going to just talk about something else for 5 minutes as well. And I'll plonk myself down here at the edge of the field to do it. Oh, there we go. It's good tobacco, this. They've changed the name in this country because of the nanny state doing what it does. You can't have the word chocolate or anything that sounds nice or appealing in the name of a tobacco these days. So it's now over here called Bob's Flake, which is a little bit silly, but it's Bob's Chocolate Flake. It always was, it always will be. But what I wanted to talk about, I know Timber Drifter does a lot of this stuff, but for about the last 8 months or so, I've been using one of these. This is the Ontario Knife Company. Can't remember what they call this. Whether they call it the woodsman's knife or the bushcraft knife or something like that. Anyway, it's based on the design of one of the Ontario Knife Company's butcher knives. Except with this one, they've made the blade a little shorter, and they've made a leather sheath to go with it. Now, these are really good knives. They're quite cheap, but they're sturdy. Carbon steel, so you can see the patina is developing nicely there. I tend to find the handles of these knives need a little bit of oil on them to make sure that they sort of don't wear out. but these have been made for a bloody long time, about 150 years or so, I think. And they're kitchen knives predominantly, so they do a whole range, very cheap and cheerful, but really nice and solid and robust. And so I've been using this for the last 8 months or so as my general purpose knife, general purpose kitchen knife, chopping, prepping food, whatever else, but also when I'm out and about, if I'm foraging or something like that, I'll take this with me. I love the design of it. It's got that old sort of classic trades, it's like a trade knife, yeah, sort of thing that would have been traded with the First Peoples, First Nations in Canada and the United States. Now, interestingly enough, although the company is called the Ontario Knife Company, they're actually made in the US. Old Hickory is the brand. So yeah, I'm giving this as a recommendation. I'm doing this as a recommendation. If you haven't already got one, do get one, because they're brilliant. They're really quite cheap. I think it's about 30 quid for this one, but that's really, I think, only because you pay for the sheath. To be honest, I think if you buy one of their bog standard butcher knives and make a sheath yourself, 15, something like that. But I managed to slice my thumb on it last night, cutting through some salami while I was on Zoom with some of the guys from the YTPC. But I've been very impressed with it as a good all-round knife, and I love that design, I love that shape. I love the way it feels in the hand. It's really honest, basic, rustic, down to earth, no nonsense, nothing frilly or fancy. And I love the patina that builds up on carbon steel like that over the years, or overuse, in response to sap and blood and oils and things like that. Yeah. So here I am in the beautiful Dorset countryside. This is my backyard at the moment. That hill up there is Pilsden Pen. So that's an old Iron Age fort. I think it's Iron Age, possibly bronze, I'm not sure. But it's where am I? There. That's it. That's Pilsden Pen. And where I am is the Marshwood Vale, which, if I was actually up on the viewpoint up at Pilsden Pen there, you've got a really good sort of view of this sort of lower lying landscape in the Dorset countryside, which is known as the Marshwood Vale, taken from the village of Marshwood, which is just up that way. But it's a really beautiful area. I think Pilsden Pen is the third highest hill. And the pub where I stay is just over there somewhere. So that's it. A bit of a ramble on a ramble. Thought I'd just do something, get out and give a little spiel from somewhere other than inside of my truck for a change. Now I'm following footprints on this brown earth, so it's good to see people are using the footpaths and not being put off. I think what a lot of farmers do is they tend to they'll plough up to the edge of a hedge like this in the hope that they obliterate the footpath altogether. And certainly when I was doing a lot of work with farmers in the past, I'd quite often come across a stack of public footpath signs where they pulled them out the ground and then thrown them onto their rubbish heap or hidden them behind a wall or something, because they don't like people coming on the land. But fuck them. Anywho, hope you guys are all good. I will catch you again soon. I think maybe I'll do a little video from up on Pilsden Pen next, so you can see the view from the top of there. You guys take care.